So this is Massive, the world's largest cruiserweight, and you're watching and listening to Countdown City.
What is up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC. Joining me is that guy, Tommy.
Hello.
And no Big Mike today.
No.
He's getting a much-deserved break. We're getting to the end of the school year for him and every other teacher and student out there. So I know the end of the year is a little frantic. So
Yeah, and a little frantic, little burnout, tomato.
yeah. So today we'll spend some time recapping everything that went down at TNA Under Siege, NXT Battleground, and AEW Double or Nothing. And even then, some of the stuff that happened this past Monday on Raw and on NXT yesterday, a little bit on AEW today, because these pay-per-views are picking up fast and furious. Bunch of announcements have come out. We'll talk all about that as well.
Including some stuff that's happening all in weekend.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's go ahead and get started with that a little bit. Obviously, because things can just never break news-wise before we have a show. Literally the day after we had last week's show, the news broke. WrestleMania in 42 in New Orleans was not happening after all. It's not going to happen in New Orleans. So, good night, buddy. Love you. Ugh. This guy's a little sad that Joe Hendry is no longer champion, but...
In his defense,
yeah.
I am also very sad that Joe Hendry's no longer champion.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure.
Joe Hendry's going to get it back, right?
He's like,
Yeah.
He's going to get it back, right?
Yeah.
Yes. When is he going to get back? What do you think?
He's probably gonna get back.
Slammiversary, maybe?
What?
That Slammiversary, maybe?
Probably.
June?
Probably.
Next month, maybe? All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Cool.
Where is Mike?
Mike is not on today, so he's not feeling good. Okay?
Tommy, by the way, while I was watching the wedding video,
God.
I said that you look skinny in the thing.
So, for... I wasn't going to tell you. Yeah, Tina and I's anniversary was on Monday, so we watched the wedding video. And dare I say, the commentary of kids watching your wedding video when they weren't around is hilarious. Is that Tommy? He looks real skinny. That's what the first thing
That's
Jay
true.
says. So, yeah.
It
Yeah.
is true, though. It is true.
All right.
in my defense,
True.
how many years ago was that?
13 years.
13 years.
13 years,
was.
February. Yeah.
What year was that? 2012.
Huh?
Mike's loud.
Mike's loud?
When he was doing the speech.
Oh, yeah. And then Mike was loud also. Mike's
Oh,
loud.
Mike was
Yeah.
loud.
Mike was loud doing the best man speech too as well. But the teacher thing, yeah. So, yeah, for sure.
Yes, I was skinnier then. I walked a lot more around UTSA at that point. So,
Yeah. All right. Get some rest. Good night, dude.
man,
Good night.
these kids roast me worse than anyone else does.
Oh my God, it was hilarious.
I'm sure you are.
Huh? Yes, we are. Yeah. Okay.
One sec.
No.
One sec.
Good night. Go.
One more thing.
No. Bedtime. Go. Get here.
One more thing.
No. No more things. Go.
One more.
Go. It's bedtime. You have one more day of school. No. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm serious. I'm gonna pinch you.
One.
Good night, Jay. Good night.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's being all rude. Or just being damn, really. Yeah, no. So.
Let's see.
Okay. All right. Anyway. So, yeah, I was mentioning WrestleMania 42 is no longer in New Orleans.
Yep.
They haven't officially announced where it's going to be. They basically came out and said, yes, New Orleans is going to be tied into WrestleMania, not the following year, the year after, or something like that. I can't remember what they said.
I can't remember which one they said. Yeah.
But they said next year's Money in the Bank will be there. That's
Yes,
what's good
they
enough. Yes.
moved Money in the Bank there. So
Yeah. So interesting note on that. But a lot of speculation is that this year's WrestleMania is going to be back in Vegas. Apparently, whether it's going to be Easter weekend again or late in April, but WWE, I guess, really made, for all we know, made a lot of money 2 days in Vegas. I mean, let's face it, there is a lot of money in Vegas, especially on the tourist side of things.
Yeah, I guess.
And I wouldn't doubt if Vegas made a full-on bid to get him back. Of course, they already have the good relationship with TKO due to the UFC relationship. So if it's really because Vegas said we're going to put in more money and ultimately outbid when New Orleans was already making plans, that's kind of shit into the stick for New Orleans.
It's some bit okay. Have this ever happened before where they announce when WrestleMania is going to be and then they change it? I don't think that's ever happened before.
WrestleMania, no. The Super Bowl, yes.
Oh, okay.
That's happened with the Super Bowl before, but that was a little bit different because that was related to. I remember the Super Bowl. I think it was 27 was supposed to be in Arizona, but because Arizona was refusing to recognize Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the NFL said, "Okay, we're going to move the Super Bowl to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena."
Every time I try to be mad at the NFL for something, they do something awesome like that.
I mean, that was the 90s.
Yeah.
But, so then ultimately when Arizona did relent and say, okay, we're recognizing it, NFL said, okay, you can have Super Bowl 30. And that's kind of where that happened. So, but yeah, I mean, I've never seen it happen on the WWE side of things, not that I can recall. If pay-per-view getting moved locations for some random reason, It's funny, when we saw this news in our little group chat, Mike was like, Saudi Arabia, and I was like, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Ultimately, I thought maybe it might be the UK. Maybe there's a chance it is. They got a deal to get it out in Wembley or something like that next year.
You would think they would finally just do that, but no.
They've been pushing for that, right? So, only they closed WrestleMania 7. I'm trying to remember what happened to WrestleMania 7 before that got moved. But so yeah, Tommy, you think if it's Vegas? You think that's the lineup or what? I mean, we'll wait and see. When are they going to make this announcement? People are already making travel plans, right? So.
Yeah, and I was one of them because I have friends in Louisiana, and I was gonna definitely stop through and go to New Orleans because I've been in forever anyway, and I miss that city. It's a lot of fun, but this is I don't know. I don't like how this feels.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. It doesn't sit right with me
because
a lot of these cities do make a ton of money when wrestling comes through, regardless of how you feel. I remember being in New Orleans for WrestleMania 30. They took over the town, and there were people everywhere. And it's New Orleans. That's saying a lot, but I could say there were people everywhere. It's New Orleans. That's kind of happens down there. But it was just crazy. But then, I don't know. I don't like when the announcement gets made. People can make preparations because no disrespect to Money in the Bank, it's not going to have the same impact.
No, it's not. As much fun as Money in the Bank is, it's not WrestleMania.
Yeah, because also you get like WrestleCon and the other shows that would usually be there, and now all of them probably have to reschedule and change their plans and find something wherever WrestleMania is, and we don't even know where that is yet. So
yeah, people travel from all over the world to go to WrestleMania. They don't travel from all over the world to go to Money in the Bank. You know, I mean, we went to WrestleMania 32 in Dallas area. We went to some indie shows around, and there's people that were just in town.
Yeah.
WrestleMania's heard about another show. There was like a midnight show after WrestleMania of all things too. So
shout out to VIP Wrestling.
Yeah. So it's a shock. It hurts a lot of businesses. It hurts the city as a whole. That's a lot of convention center space that they were going to be renting out. The Bourbon Street, scene for sure there. That's a major issue. I mean, I could understand if there was some potential security risk, if there was some building issues, what have it. So I don't know what all the details are.
If they had said that'd be different. But since they won't say the actual reason, and it looks like even the city of New Orleans was taken by surprise, So
yeah, for all we know, they might have just heard about the announcement when it was announced.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy, very crazy how this is going down. So, hopefully it's not a major issue. Hopefully it's a building renovation thing they got to get done. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on with it. We'll see what they decide. Heavy speculation is that they're going to just be returning to Vegas this year, which with where TKO is headquartered, which I believe is out of Vegas, it wouldn't surprise me. They can probably Vegas will be a fallback for any sort of big event where they, got to.
But again, that just don't look right.
It doesn't. It
just don't look right.
Yeah. Like, and I understand if you want Vegas, it's a hotbed and everything like that, but part of the appeal of moving WrestleMania around everywhere is it gets cities a chance to bid. You make a lot of money on it. People that travel for these events get to see different cities. They're not going stuck in Vegas the whole time, you know? So,
Yeah, and Vegas is also expensive as well. So
yes.
you're gonna have like a lot less people who are just not gonna want to do that every year.
Right, exactly. So,
And I think that's kind of the appeal of WrestleMania going to other cities is people want to check out what else is out there, and and people who've already been to Vegas, they're not going to go back a second time. I mean, like they might, but I doubt it.
yeah, when the Nashville finishes the new stadium they're building for the Titans, I hope they get WrestleMania there because I would love to go to WrestleMania in Nashville. Nashville's a great town, and
Yeah.
I think they would really enjoy, just getting on to Broadway and everything like that is a blast. So,
Yeah.
hopeful, I think. So, I don't think whatever the real reason. Someday somebody's gonna do a shoot interview or a podcast and they'll reveal everything, right?
It'll be on Dark Side of the Ring. The true reason New Orleans did go to
the 20-something season of it when we're old and gray, So although I'm already gray right now, but anyway.
Really talking about gray. I was talking to a guy last night. I was talking and something distracted me. I looked down and I don't know if you can. I don't know which one. I think it was this one. This gray hair like was sticking out like this. I was like, what the hell is that? I was so upset.
On the local front, United 210 teased they have a venue.
Yes.
All they've said, the next show for them is June 13th. They said it's a venue. They said it's Southside. They said there's parking, not a long walk. Hopeful it's still the whole bring your chair BYO, but I don't know. They haven't said where or when the announcement's going to be made, but they did tease that announcement will be made very, very soon on what the new location is going to be for United 210 events.
June 13th they announced they set the date.
Yes.
When it'll be.
June 13th is the next United 210 event. Hybrid's next event is June 14th, and RCW's is July 6th. But I'm curious to see where they found on the south side and if it's going to have the same appeal. Part of me wouldn't doubt it if it's the flea market right there off Morrison 410. So
wouldn't be actually that's actually not a bad idea.
That wouldn't be a bad location. No one's selling on a Friday. Most of the stuff is done on Saturday and Sunday.
Hey, United's in the chat.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping in. You're more than welcome to come on and let us know what the venue is right now if you want to let us know the news.
Get the exclusive.
But we would love to hear where this venue is going to be. It's funny because my wife works down there on the south side. My kids go to school there. The last day of school for them is tomorrow. So I tend to drive by McCully every now and then, just look like, But thinking of you guys, the news is exciting. Seeing the post that the venue's coming. So, I don't know. Can you at least tell us when you're going to announce it? If you're not going to announce it today, throw a comment in there and let us know because we were all anxious to find out. So, I think the yard was unique. Just wait.
And I have other small. Okay, cool. I have some other small wrestling, another piece of wrestling news whenever we're ready. Just I forgot to tell you beforehand.
Okay, go for it.
Black Swan, who we know from Mission Pro fame, she's been out with an injury, but she will be returning to wrestling June the 14th.
Okay.
So, so her back in wrestling means I can once again have my hopes up that she'll come back to San Antonio, which also coincides with my hopes that Mission Pro will come back soon. So.
We hope. One of those things, and we just hope to make it through. So, yeah, very much. Trying to think if there's anything else out there on the news front side of things.
I want to just make sure that I wasn't sent anything that else I was supposed to say. Oh, that's what it was. JL, who we Oh, okay. Good.
Okay.
Angel, I am not late. Actually, Angel, you are. You're later than me. You should be ashamed of yourself.
So.
Anyway, like I was saying, JL, friend of the WrestleCast. Well, friend being a very loose term because she's disliked me for a while, but then again, who hasn't? Announced today that she is pregnant.
Wow.
Of course, those who don't know, she is married to Garrett Borden, one of Sting's sons. So Sting's about to become Grandpa Sting. And if you've seen his beard lately, you know that's not that big a surprise.
Mm-hmm. I thought he was a grandpa already at this point, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
He might be, but like if he isn't one already, he's about to be one. But he used to be having a great time. Like he's about to be a grandpa. His surrogate son just climbed Mount Everest.
Right.
You're never gonna convince me that boy ain't his surrogate son. You're never gonna
Look,
convince me of that, like ever. So.
For those that don't know, yes, Darby Allin completed his climb of Mount Everest. I believe he did a coffin drop off the top and is still falling as we speak. No, I'm just kidding. But he did at some point close to the top do a kickflip on a skateboard, set the world record for the highest elevated kickflip in.
I think it's the highest elevated skateboard trick. Period. It was when he did that. So I think that's just hilarious. So
nice.
Now Tony Hawk has to do that orbital drop and do a 900 from there.
So yeah, it's pretty amazing accomplishment. We'll see how long before we get Darby Allin back on TV. I know I've missed seeing him at AEW. And then we'll see.
He planted AEW's flag too on the summit.
Did he? Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, he planted AEW's flag. If not on the near the summit, he planted it near the summit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you actually put anything on the summit of Mount Everest. I think that's actually illegal. But you can plant something near the summit. Yeah.
And as much as WWE has tried to compete with everything AEW does, your move, Triple H, how are you going to top that one?
He's going to the moon.
He can't get to the moon, or he's going to the Mariana Trench, or whatever it's called, the deepest part of the ocean. So, yeah. Anyway. All right. Let's move on to the events that happened this past weekend. Just kind of run down some results. We'll start with NXT. TNA Under Siege.
No, you said it right the first time.
NXT.
You said it right. You said it right the first time.
I mean, it's kind of is the same thing, right?
Yes!
It's blending all together right now.
It's like I don't get there's almost no difference at this point.
Yeah. Some of the notable results here: Ash and Heather by Elegance defeated Spitfire, which means Spitfire team of Danny Luna and Jody Threat have to disband. They are no longer a tag team.
That is sad.
Yeah. Eddie Edwards defeated Cody Deaner, so Deaner does not receive a new TNA contract.
Strategic in its own way, but okay.
Right? Let's see. Masha Slamovich retained the Knockouts Championship. The Nemeth Brothers retained the Tag Team Championship. And Joe Hendry and Elijah defeat Trick Williams and Frankie Kazarian. But we speculated stuff that might have happened this match will set up what could potentially happen at Battleground. Because this was essentially the go-home show for that Battleground main event when you think about it. You know?
Thank you.
Yeah. So, let me see here. Yeah, those were kind of the main results out of this one. Again, this is a TNA Plus event. But they're turning around and having an event pretty quickly. I think against all odds is not this Friday, but next Friday. So they're turning around, making it pretty quick. Yeah. So it's something we'll be talking about next week. So, but I guess it kind of coincides. We can go right into the discussion of NXT Battleground because this does kind of coincide with it.
Yeah.
Jason,
we have a comment from United.
Oh, let's see here. Like a mile and a half from Mission to Log. Oh, okay.
I think I've seen that place.
I think I know where it is too.
Huh.
If it's the place I'm thinking of, that is going to be a lot of fun. So
we're gonna have a good time. That's what we're gonna
yeah, it's good. Budo South Side, man, definitely. So glad you found a place. Can't wait for the official announcement. Can't wait for the excitement of it. And these things happen in wrestling, man. Way to keep at it. Don't quit on it. So pretty awesome. So yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. On to NXT Battleground, which kind of just flowed right into this one. Sol Ruka retained the NXT Women's North American Championship. See, Hank and Tank and Josh Briggs defeated the Calling. Stax Lorenzo defeated Tony D'Angelo and into the title matches. Stephanie Vaquero defeated Jordan Grace. Obafemi defeated Miles Bourne. And the main event, yes, a TNA World Championship was the main event of an NXT pay-per-view event. And Joe Hendry is no longer your TNA World Champion. That is now in the hands of Trick Williams. Shocker.
I'm very conflicted about this, like on several levels. I'm happy for Trick and happy that Joe gets this, gets this shine.
Mhm.
But wasn't the complaint when AEW did this with TNA it was like AEW was overshining TNA? Wasn't that what everyone was saying?
Right? Kenny Omega comes in, wins the TNA World Championship, and he's carrying around both championships for a bit. Remember that?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But okay. This feels weirder. Is it okay? It stopped. Okay, and I'm serious. I want to seriously ask you if this is weird that I'm feeling this way because I really want you to tell me. Is it weird to you that this is happening after all the releases they just did? Does this not feel weird?
Very much.
Thank you. Okay, I thought it was just me. I was like, this feels awkward. It feels kind of wrong-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Like after all the releases and they're doing, I don't. It doesn't feel good. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. I don't know, but I mean, cool, happy for Trick, and I got no problem with Trick Williams. I got no problem with Joe Hendry. It just this feels weird. I can't put my finger on why beyond what I just said, but beyond why this feels odd.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see what
Angel.
happens. Okay,
She had to go.
it's gonna be interesting to see what happens on Impact tomorrow.
Yeah.
Where they go from this, what they set up for Against All Odds. When I had to break the news to my son that Joe Hendry lost, he was very sad. We were at we were somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just a lot going on this past weekend, but and hearing that, seeing the news, and just telling my son, like, he was just like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah." But how the finish happened, was it clean? Not particularly. It wasn't like he used a weapon. It just didn't move on to the championship belt that was there. But like I told my son right now, maybe Slammiversary. Big pay-per-view for TNA around the corner. Put more eyes on it for the rematch right there. Maybe it gets back on Joe Hendry, or is Joe Hendry's contract up soon?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That could be part of it. And that of course, again, honestly, that makes this whole deal with TNA that much more confusing. Especially when they just release someone who can end up like Indy Hartwell or even Nick Nemeth. I know he's released forever ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes it's weird. I'm so confused.
You wonder what random NXT person they release is going to sign with TNA and win the championship.
Or WWE person for that matter, like someone who's on the main roster.
Yeah. I feel like this is worse than Kenny winning.
Okay, that's what I said.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Okay, that's okay. I'm glad someone else feels the same way I do. That's what I said, and that's not because of Trick. It's really not. It's something about this feels weird.
Because Joe Hendry is one of the hottest things in wrestling right now, and lost to WrestleMania. I don't even care about that. Lost to Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Cool, whatever. But he's like the biggest name in TNA, and he just lost to a guy who's not even the NXT champion right now, Trick Williams.
And maybe that's the difference. When Kenny Omega won, that was in the middle of him being the belt collector, and so that just kind of fit what was going on at the time. And even then they had that whole angle. The angle was
camera.
Okay. I was like, oh wow, hey, I'm on the show. Okay.
No.
That had the angle of also like the story was Rich Swann wasn't on Kenny's level, and that's what they were trying to prove, right?
Right.
But with this, that's not the story because they already proved Joe's on Trick's level because he was at WrestleMania and Trick wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And and Trick Trick's barely won matches since he lost the title to Obafemi. So I guess that's why. I guess that's what it was. I guess the more I'm talking, the more I'm telling myself why this is weird. And I think this is the other thing. Kenny was the obvious mega heel going into that with Rich Swann. He was purposefully the obvious bad guy. This was more like a, I don't know, maybe Trick was the heel, but still, I think you get what I'm saying. Anyway,
there's fan support on both sides of this one.
Yeah.
And then the argument for Kenny's being worse is he actually did it on a TNA pay-per-view, right? Basically invaded TNA to win the title.
That's also
whereas
true.
This championship took place on an NXT event. on Trick's home turf, if you will. He wins it there. So
and it got, because like when Kenny did it, it got more people to watch TNA,
mm-hmm.
and this was just more people watching NXT.
Yeah,
I guess, and I guess that's kind of my thing with this is like, if they're doing this with this like intention of doing it better than when AEW did it, why are all these giant moments happening on their pay-per-views?
Mm-hmm. So, guess we'll wait and see where they go from there. What's going to happen tomorrow?
Yeah.
What's going to happen on Tuesdays and Thursdays, setting this up as well going forward.
And of course, what happened on Tuesday made me feel bad for Jordan Grace on several levels. But anyway.
Yeah, that's kind of goes into it. JC Jane defeated Stephanie Vaquer for the NXT Women's Championship.
That felt random as F. Mm-hmm. Like, for real.
But that wasn't the only title that changed hands. Ethan Page won the North American Championship, by the way.
Wait, I missed that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Do I even need to say anything to that?
I don't know. It's sometimes it's weird to me where you just have this pay-per-view event and literally on free TV, that's when a title changes hands. Like, interesting choice. But
I will. You know what? I'll at least give that a pass to where they don't do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But okay. I feel like they have, unless they do something else with Ricky, which I hope they do.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the cases where they got the shock value. Oh, they signed the person that was done wrong in AEW, but now the internet buzz is worn off, and now they're just going to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Which is what I'm terrified is going to happen with this whole AAA thing. Because Vikingo deserves so much better. And I'm already scared of what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, speaking of which, they did announce after the page one what his defense is going to be at Worlds Collide. And it is a fatal four-way with Javon Evans, Laredo Kid, and Ray Phoenix. So, first time defense of the North American Championship. You mentioned Hijo del Vikingo. He's going up against Chad Gable. So, we'll talk definitely more about that next week. So,
oh, Lord.
Yeah. All right, and then finally on to Double or Nothing. A lot of news coming out of this one. Obviously, this event ran concurrently with NXT Battleground. So,
I thought there wasn't competition.
I'm sure people are trying to catch up to everything there as well. So, Mercedes Moné wins the Owen Hart Women's Cup, Foundation Cup. So she earns an AEW Women's World Championship match at All In. And Hangman Page defeated Will Ospreay, surprisingly, for the Men's Owen Hart Championship. Or, excuse me, Owen Hart Cup. So he gets a title shot at All In against Jon Moxley. Mercedes, of course, is getting a title shot at Toni Storm. So, other results here. FTR defeated Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. Ricochet defeats Mark Briscoe in a stretcher match. Hurt Syndicate retains the Tag Team Championships. Okada retains the Continental Championship. Toni Storm defeats Mina Shirakawa to retain the Women's World Championship. We'll just call it Team Kenny Omega, wins the Anarchy in the Arena match. And the Don Callis family won a trios match against Paragon. So, stat card, these AEW, I mean, yeah, few and far between these pay-per-views are, but they are so good, so well done.
Yeah.
So,
and okay, this is my other thing. It's like because someone else mentioned the timing of like the ones of the pay-per-views again, and I was like, okay, but they run them so infrequently. What's the problem?
Yeah.
So.
And it's to see what the buys are too. Everyone's always talking, I don't know why WWE's trying to run this at the same time. Double or Nothing's going on. I think it hurts everybody when this kind of stuff is done. But
I don't like it either. And also, this is the age of the internet, which I get buys are important, but also people just watch stuff the next day.
For sure, especially since people had a holiday the next day too, right?
Yeah, so. like people just watch stuff the next day. It's like it's like you do that, but it's like people are just like, we'll just watch it tomorrow. We'll watch one tonight, watch the other one tomorrow, and that could be, and that can go either way. It's like I'm not saying like I was like, oh, they just clearly watched AEW because no, like the people could have decided to watch Battleground, and that's fine, and they just watch Double or Nothing tomorrow, or and vice versa. There's I don't get where this need to undermine the competition comes from, because the internet now exists. So
especially with the way it is nowadays, you get the pay-per-view. It's good essentially for life as long as you have the account.
Yeah, so
of course,
it's like legitimately almost defeats the purpose of them even trying.
Yeah, back when we were younger, obviously it was you buy it, you're only able to watch it during that time period.
Yeah.
Also,
I just thought it makes even less sense if there are people like you and me who have dual screens.
Mm-hmm.
And you just watch both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. So, might kill my bandwidth for a bit, but yeah, here we go. So
yeah, it's like you just watch both at the same time. So
yeah. Oh, there's already some reaction from Nick Nimitz and other people in TNA about Trick Williams being in the championship. So
yeah. I'm sure there was no conflict of interest there whatsoever.
Right, exactly. So pick results for us. Believe it or not, we all went 5-2 on our picks for Double or Nothing.
I'll take it.
Yeah, so kind of stayed the course there with that as far as our picks go. Just kind of looking ahead to All In, Mercedes versus Tony Storm and Hangman versus Moxley are the matches we know are going to happen.
Yep.
At All In Texas. Do you think either championship changes hands at all?
I think the men's world championship changes hands.
Okay.
I honestly see Tony Storm beating Mercedes. I'm not even kidding.
I think so as well. I want to believe Paige will beat Mox, but Mox has had it so long, it's at a point where you're not going to pick against him until he loses, right?
Yeah, I'm going to pick against him this time.
Yeah, okay.
But
we'll talk about that more in July for sure.
And I just want to know what Tony's going to say to Mercedes going on the way to All In, because these promos are about to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I am so looking forward to this. Oh my god.
Now, speaking of All In, another piece of wrestling news. In addition to WWE announcing the changes for WrestleMania, the Money in the Bank announcement for New Orleans, they also did announce an additional pay-per-view for this year, and it is Evolution, which
that's good news. Okay.
Yes, that is good news. Evolution is back, happening this year. It's going to take place the day after All In.
Yes.
Pointing that out. In Atlanta, for those who don't remember, All In, Evolution is the all-women's pay-per-view. WWE to this point has only produced one. And everyone, ever since Triple H kind of took over, we're wondering when the next one's going to be. So they did make the announcement July 13th. Let's see. Oh, wait, am I reading this right? This will be the first Evolution and first all-women's wrestling pay-per-view broadcast on both Netflix and Peacock. I wonder if that means Netflix internationally and Peacock locally. I'm not sure.
I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, just see when that news comes out later. Same weekend, though, I think the day before is another Saturday Night Main Event. And that's going to be the one that's running the same time as All In. So, from the same arena, by the way.
Okay. I know I harp on this every single time, but I remember people saying, for the love of God, Tony Khan, stop bringing up WWE. That man stopped bringing up WWE. Mm-hmm. He legitimately has not talked about them, not negatively, in like a year. The last thing he brought up was when someone asked how he felt about, like, they were running a concurrent show, and he said, oh, it sounded like it was awesome. That was the last thing he said. Now, it's like WWE is going out of their way to run against AEW, which shows they announced All In a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they
all this time to schedule something, and they wait till now they can pull something.
And I kind of feel like Evolution got put in a bad spot too. I'm sorry, that just seems like bad. That seems like it's kind of insulting to have
the women have to follow All In, basically.
Yeah, like they can't get their own weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how this is being done. I'm just not a fan. I'm sorry. If I'm proven wrong, fantastic. But I don't like this. It's like there's some kind of like thinking like, what? y'all have already proven that AEW is not as big as y'all. And that's okay, by the way. That's fine. When AEW is like, they should move to smaller venues. They did that, still getting packed houses, still doing well. They've had some hiccups here and there. Guess what? They're a wrestling company. That's gonna happen. I am not claiming AEW is perfect. I just don't like this now. This thing where they're doing almost the same thing WWE's doing the same thing AEW was doing before, and the internet's kind of quiet. It's coming to my TED Talk.
I mean, it probably won't change until there's a bit of a uproar about all these like concurrent events as well. So if people are getting frustrated with that,
but I feel like with the concurrent events, it's like I don't mind it to a point.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't mind competition. I think competition is good. Let me go and preference that. But I think competition where it's like blatantly you're trying to like almost sabotage the other, that's the problem. It's like right. AEW, if they're so not a threat, why are Saturday main events keep happening on the same day as their pay-per-views?
Why do they have to run?
Oh, I just saw Jason's comment. I don't know if you want to put it up.
What? Let me see.
That's a terrible idea.
Oh, really?
That is a terrible idea.
Huh.
That's a terrible idea. I'm sorry. No, don't do that. Oh, it's in Atlanta too. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh.
I mean, let's be honest. While a lot of women are at the Beyonce concert, you're going to have a lot of guys at Evolution. So, I mean... But we'll see how this.
Yeah.
We'll see how ticket sales go for this one now that you've made such a late announcement.
That's that's even more exciting than I thought it was. Like,
yeah. Evolution essentially is less than 2 months away. So.
Also, that's kind of insulting too. The suddenness of it, and not putting it out further so people can plan better. Nah, I don't like that at all. I really don't like that at all.
But let's see what they book too. Let's see if it's going to be another Legends involvement or if they're going to be able to use what they have on the roster right now, whoever is signed. So
yeah.
But yeah, very interesting. So, all right. With that, we can move into our 1 minute warning segment here. Tommy, you got something this week?
Do I? Let me. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I kind of do.
Okay. Let me get the countdown going. It's going to yell at us in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Whenever you're ready, sir, go for it.
Two things, really. The first one is shout out to John Juan. Actually, if you go to my channel, That Guy Tommy on YouTube, I just posted a video talking about that. And also, Bill Guy, I forgot to put that link in the video. Go support him in the GoFundMe. Glad to see him at Hybrid. Glad he's doing better. Also, shouts out to the wrestling shop, at Rolling Oaks Mall. They do every once a month the Thursday night fire, I think they're calling it. This past Thursday, man, was a killer show. Epidemius Jr. was on there. They had a 4-way match where Prince Pretty defended his Iron Eagle championship. And one of the combats was King Cobra. I forget the other two guys' names. Forgive me, guys. But that was a killer match. It was just a fun show all around. Shouts out to Haley Danielle and AI Iris, who Haley Danielle from Laredo. AI Iris is from the Austin Dustin Road School RWA in Austin. They're both on their way. It was just a fun night, and just shout out to everyone. It was a great night for a show that is on Thursdays. Rolling Oaks Mall. Basically, you can pay for a seat, or you can just stand and watch the show like I did. So almost a free show, and they still have a killer show, and like the crowd's fun. And shout out to Oscar and putting it on, and like it's just a fun time. So if you guys are ever out there, I think the next one is June. Let me check real quick. I think it's June 26th is the next one. Yeah, June 26th. Go check them out. It's a good time. It's a lot of fun, and just keep on supporting local wrestling, and shout out to United. Glad we back up anyway.
All right. For me, I'm Angel pretty much put the comment. This is what I was going to talk about, and I'm just going to pop it up here. Isn't this what they did with Evolution last time too? From what I researched, they kind of the same thing, kind of rush things. Yes, they did. The last time they have an Evolution pay-per-view, and yeah, that was the show. If you don't remember, this was before we were doing live. If we were talked about it, Tina hit me with a Money in the Bank lunchbox and took over hosting the show. And we talked about Evolution. Yes, right.
So
Scared the crap out of Tommy. But anyway, that was kind of a rush job. They said, okay, we're going to do it. We're listening to what the fans want. But we said it then. It needs to happen every year. Don't just make this a one-off. You need to make this part of the pay-per-view schedule every year. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. And it sucked because the first Evolution was such a great show, arguably one of the best that year. I think we talked about it as one of our best pay-per-views of the year. But they haven't kept it going. So, again, I'm going to say this like I said it years ago when they had the first one, which, what was it, 2018 when they had the first one, 2019? I'm trying to remember when
it was like we were still doing pre-recording, so it had to be 2018, 2019.
2018. 2018 was the last time. If you're going to do this, Triple H, it needs to happen every year. You can't sit there, throw this on the schedule last minute, and then criticize it if it doesn't sell, if they don't have time to market it, if people don't stream it because they've already got plans. There's a Beyonce concert for crying out loud. People are spending money going all in. Don't throw this on there last minute, then judge it because the ticket sales might be poor because you gave people less than 2 months notice for a huge pay-per-view event. Because getting all women's event, and we can tell you in San Antonio, having been spoiled by Mission Pro, is a big deal. So if you're going to do this, do it every year. Have it on the schedule. Set a month, set a date so that people know, hey, this is what it is. This is when I can bring my daughter to this event. So she's going to want to see all the women on a show. That is the most important piece of this. Don't make this a one-off you threw in together last minute because fans have been asking for it. Make sure this is happening every year. Please.
Yeah. Want to know how different the world was when Evolution 1 was what happened?
Gas was $1 cheaper, maybe? What's going on here?
Probably so.
Yeah.
Shayna Baszler defeated Kairi Sane for the NXT Women's Championship. Mm-hmm. Rhea Ripley was a dark match on that show, defending the NXT UK Women's title against Dakota Kai. Again, that was the dark match. And Ronda Rousey beat Nikki Bella in the main event.
Yeah, I remember being
pissed. That was the Wild West back then, and we didn't realize it.
I remember us being upset. Why is Nikki Bella on this event?
I was angry when she was the main event. Her being on the event, I could have cared less about if she had been somewhere on the undercard. She was the main event, and I was pissed.
Made absolutely no sense. And that being said, look, I know you got to pay child support, you got alimony, all this stuff from your divorce settlement. Stay away from my WWE TV, okay? People have moved on. You need to move on too. You know?
Do you know what match wasn't the main event? But was the pre-main event?
It probably involved Bailey, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was Becky and Charlotte in the last woman standing match.
That's right. Yes, that's right. So
because I remember watching it thinking, why wasn't this the main event?
Because Ronda, because Nikki Bella. Yeah, Nikki, stay off my damn TV, please. Okay.
Oh my God, that was such a terrible idea.
Just pay Artem your money, but don't try and get the money back on WWE. Oh now we've been wondering why she's been trying to get back on it. Now we know that the details of the divorce settlement came out. So yeah.
If you don't know, now you know.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. I know it was a short show, just mainly a recap show, but a lot of big news, of course, talking about WrestleMania. We'll stay tuned and kind of react. We'll see if they make the announcement of what the new United 210 venue is going to be. Maybe talk a little bit about that next week if we get the news. In addition to that, we will also next week preview Against All Odds from TNA, WWE's Worlds Collide, and WWE Money in the Bank.
Yeah, yes. because Forbidden Door was such a stupid name.
Well, they don't have the rights to that anyway, so.
But I remember Triple H saying that. It's like, we don't usually do Forbidden Door.
He probably
but Worlds Collide. That's so much better. Whatever. Sorry,
yeah. I'm so bitter. If you're willing to spend as much money it is on a cameo for me,
dude,
the joke's on you, dude. All right, so joke's on you. Which, by the way, I think the most expensive cameo I've seen for wrestlers MJF is $600. It's just because he doesn't want to do them. But if people are going to pay the money, he'll do it. So it's hilarious. So,
And well, speaking as a person who's talked to MJF in real life, do so at your own risk.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know the man, and he called me ugly immediately.
Yeah. Fantastic too, by the way.
By the way,
that panel on the Count Out City Geeks YouTube.
I was gonna say, by the way, wouldn't trade that moment for anything. Yeah, go check it out, Count Out City Geeks YouTube. Wouldn't trade that moment for anything. If I can do it again, don't you know that I will?
Yeah.
Count on that.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Over here, we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
And I'm JC. As always, heels and baby faces. Remember, pro wrestling is real. People are.
Boom. Adios, Gunther. Done.